Tired of working from home from the pandemic? Why you don't want to wear your GMTs from Rolex, Omega, or Grand Seiko while you're wearing sweatshirt or shorts at home? Or if you're in East Asia where pandemic's pretty much under control since mid last year, want a piece for casual Friday or weekend, just add a little bit more color and excitement to your life. I might have the perfect GMT for you. Hey guys, this is Howard from HHC Review. It's been a while, hope you're doing well. I haven't done a lot of videos in the last 12 months because of the pandemic. It just makes sourcing the watches for review much more difficult. But I'm glad I'm back today with a pretty interesting piece. Not the usual, high-end Rolex, Patek, Vacheron, or AP, or even Grand Seiko Omega, but rather interesting GMT piece from a company called Farer, Farer. It's a British company that's relatively young, founded in 2015, and its goal is to, from their website directly, from quality watches at fair prices, right? They design their watches, basically name them for travelers, explorers, vessels, and locations. That's the name of all their watches. And they design the watch, but the actual watch is made by their Swiss manufacturing partner, Roventa Hennex. So they design, then the other company make it for them. And if you look at their websites, a lot of their watches are very colorful, looks very youthful, looks very adventurous. A lot of blue and green color, orange hands, yellow hands. And for each one, I particularly like a lot of their GMTs on world time. You can select a number to order. Most of these watches, they make couple of hundreds, but if the sales are good, they may extend into, for example, their Lender 3 GMT. It's selling number from 1,000 above now. But overall, it's a small company. I started follow this company a couple of years ago when I saw one of their world time. It was kind of interesting. And when I saw this Ponting, which is named after a famous British photographer and explorer, Herbert George Ponting, it's a very nice piece, and I thought, let me take a look, see what I like. Is this the perfect casual Friday, or just something you work from home? You want to lift up your spirit a little bit, right? For a lot of the folks in the U.S. or other parts of the world, it's been a year over working from home. It gets kind of boring and draining. Why not add a little bit color to your life? Hence, this piece presenting to you. Now, before I review the watch, just quickly look at the box it came in with. I'm not going to do any true unboxing, but it came in a really nice box with a Farer on top. Then in here, you got a little pouch. You open that up. Obviously, the watch was sitting here. Initially, you got a little instruction. Obviously, the plastic bag. Little tag here. British design, Swiss made. Little cleaning cloth, and a little card, warranty and guarantee. I think they guarantee for 5 years. Model is Ponting, serial number F3 GMT. Then there's a 3-digit number. Currently, there you can select up to 250. There are about still 50, 60 numbers available, I think. Then the movement, I'll talk about it a little bit later. So it comes in a pretty nice package here. Now the watch itself, again, the first look is very, very colorful. It's a pilot style watch with a lot of different colors right away. The numeral numbers, the hands, the GMT hands, the second, the strap, obviously. So it just looks uplifting and very springish, right? We're April 2021 right now. It's just fitting to put something like this on your wrist. Overall 39.5 millimeter case, so it's not super big. It's the proper size. It's 45 lug to lug. If you look at the lug to lug, it's 45 millimeters, 10 millimeters thick. It's pretty light. It's only about 83.5 grams or 2.95 ounces. Compared to for example, the most famous GMT, the Rolex GMT Master 2 here also has a rubber strap. I'll compare the strap a little bit later. This GMT piece is 98 grams, 3.44 ounces, and this Ponting 83.5 grams, 2.95 ounces. So 15% lighter. So it's not very heavy at all. 20 millimeter lug size. And a waterproof about 100 meters. The material is a 316 L high grade stainless steel. Polished case, you can see case, the side polished. The rim, the top rim part is also polished. But the top of the lug nut, it's actually brushed, which adds a little bit of a contrasting polish on the side. But top of the lug nut is really just brushed. The hero or the key thing here is the dial. This is a beautiful silver silk sunray. I love these lighter silver sunray or light blue sunray dials. It just looks so pretty, especially under the sun. It's just very radiant and reflects the light really, really well. I mean, there are a lot of sporty type of watches these days from any brands, right? GMT from Master 2 from Rolex or Alcantara from Omega or Grand Seiko. A lot of the dark, black dial, green and blue. But the silver and the white is still the most legible. It just looks very, very clean. And this one features the navy blue numerals, 12 numbers. One thing I like about it is it has all 12 numbers, right? A lot of the other pilot, the date window, especially the IWC pilots, right? The date window area, you don't have the number 3. I just feel like it's a little bit unbalanced. If you want to show numbers, show all 12 or just 3, 6, 9, 12, the 4 numbers or just the number 12. Then you got the burnt orange inner time track. So that you can notice here the top was navy blue, inner minute track, the bottom is burnt orange. Then you got the GMT hand is also orange, right? Obviously you got they call it electric blue hours and minute hand. Then the second hand, it's kind of like a light silver color, light gray, which is really good. It doesn't really pop too much in your face, but it's noticeable. Then the yellow, what do they call that? They call that a very unique name, prime rose yellow, the sweeping second hand. I love that. And it has that little sort of the A or Star Trek logo type for all their watches have that design. And it's also the same design on the side. They have a bronze tapered crown with an embossed Farer 8. I think that's their logo shape. I think they have the bronze crown pretty much all their watches. I feel it's a little bit too small. Maybe because I'm used to these GMT Explorer or Seamaster, a little bit wider and bigger. This was slightly smaller for my feel, but it works. It's not these bigger sports watch. It's still a little bit more dressy. It's just more of a casual dress watch, right? So the glass is the anti-reflective boxed sapphire crystal domed glass. Just look at the side view here. The back is just a standard exhibition case. Now, the movement, let's talk about these relatively affordable so-called GMT. I mean, again, it's relative, right? So this piece is 1,430. The movement it uses is Sellita SW330-1. They call it a premium GMT movement. There are not a whole lot of these out there. The other one's ETA 2893-2. I think it's a pretty good workhorse movement. It got 25 joule self-winding power reserves, about 42 hours. And on the back, you can see it has the F3 GMT. Here's the serial number. British design, Swiss made. sapphire glass, 316L stainless steel, 10 ATM. So very clean, very nice. Nothing too fancy. And the movement, it gives you the ability to, so this is position one. You use this to wind the watch. When you pull out one setting, you can turn clockwise to adjust the GMT hand, counterclockwise to adjust the date, fast adjust, then pull out to the last position, you can adjust the minute hand. Now, one thing this type of movement doesn't have is a local hour jumping adjustment right away. But I believe there's some new movements from ETA. On some of the GMT watches in this price range have that feature as well. You can just adjust the local hour hand directly. Overall, I mean, I really like it. You can see clearly, it's a pilot style, so you can see the time very clearly. You know, the GMT inner circle, 24-hour circle, the font is a little bit small. So when, like right now, it's very clear, very clean. But if the lighting is not too good, you might have a little bit trouble seeing exactly what time it is. The other thing I noticed, I don't know if it's just this watch or all of their movements, you notice my local time right now is 10:55, but the GMT hand is already pointing exactly at, you know, the second time zone at 1 a.m. And I noticed this quite a bit. So I've been testing this piece for, I just say pretty much last week or so. And this has been the recurring issue. So when the minute hand actually hits 12, you will see the GMT will be slightly over the 1 o'clock, just off by a tiny bit. I don't really mind it, you know, the difference is very small, but if you're into extreme precision, that might bother you a little bit. Now, in terms of the movement, the accuracy of the time, I have to say I'm really impressed. I'm basically observing 2 seconds a day off. I mean, a lot of these chronometers from GMT, whether it's Rolex or, you know, Omega or other brands, you know, plus minus 2 seconds a day is pretty good. And this one's been basically operating at plus 2 seconds a day, 2 seconds a day. So I think that's pretty impressive. Now, other fine details, you have the actual minute on the sidewall here. Top, again, is the blue, navy blue background with a white minute track. Bottom is orange with a little minute track. I think right now under this good lighting, it looks really clean. But again, if it's a little bit darker, it's a little bit hard to tell the tiny tracks. Also, inside of these blue and orange, you have another set of tiny tracks, orange on top and the black at the bottom. Very nicely designed. You know, it's casual enough for a casual Friday or weekend, but it's also, you know, if you want to wear it to the office, absolutely okay. Now, lastly, I want to talk about the strap. So this watch comes with a lot of different options. You can buy the bracelet, the metal bracelet, or you can get different color strap. This is the orange, which I feel like it's a really good fitting, but you can get a blue strap. You can get leather strap, you know, brown, a lot of different options. You know, on their website, you see a lot of different options for you to pick. I think the orange strap looks the best on this orange hand and silver dial. Look at that beautiful reflective from a little bit light from outside of the window. Now, they didn't put the size of the strap on a watch, and I think that's extremely important for any watch company. When you sell a rubber or leather strap, you gotta put this length. The reason is very simple, right? For folks like us, like me, I have a small wrist. If the leather strap or rubber strap is too long, when you wear the watch, I'll demonstrate a little bit later, this end piece is gonna stick out like this, and it's really gonna look terrible on a small wrist. I really don't want to see that. I just want to see the end showing up a little bit like this, okay? And that would be a perfect situation for small wrist. So for this piece, I'm gonna do a little comparison as well. The longer side, the length is 12.5 centimeter or 4.92 inches. Top is about 20 millimeters, and it tapers down all the way to about 18 right here. at this point. The shorter side, it's 7.5 from the lug end of the case all the way to right here, end of the orange. 7.5 centimeters or 2.95 inches. If you include the pin buckle, its total length is 9 centimeters or 3.54 inches. So same thing here, 20 millimeters wide down to 18. Okay. If you compare this, for example, let me compare a couple of watches. Here's a very, very basic $20 Casio world time. I guess. Let's compare, guys. When you put this basically stacked together at the end, the Casio is about tiny bit longer, okay? Then here's another piece I showed you guys earlier, the Rolex GMT with the Rubber Bee brand. Rubber Bee is a very famous brand. They make very, very nice high-end rubber strap for, a lot of the Rolex Patek. So this piece I also measured. It's 12.1 centimeter from the end of the case. It's a little bit bent here to the end. 12.1, so 4.76 inches, about 7.8 on the short side, 3.07 inches, including the buckle is 9.2. Now, if you compare these two, it's a little bit harder to compare. The orange is just tiny bit longer. So it's 12.5 versus 12.1. Let me show you on the strap. I think for small wrist, 12.5 is actually a really, really good size. Anything longer than that, it's going to look not too good. So my wrist is small, 6.5 inches or 16.5 centimeters. So if I want to get it tight, I do the fourth hole, but I like to have the watch a little bit looser. So it's the fifth hole. Put that in. Perfect. It's a little bit loose. You can see there's a little bit of space here. I think it looks great, man. If you have a green color shirt like I have right now, what a contrast. Looks really pretty. The side profile. The lug tapers down a bit so it doesn't look too big. I mean, I like big watches, so 40 millimeter GMT from Rolex is, good size for me. This one 39.5, and because these are leather straps, it falls vertically here, so it doesn't extend out like some of these, integrated bracelets. So the integrated bracelet will look like this, make it a little bit harder, but this type is perfect. Now, in this case, you can see the end just peeking out a little bit. It's a little bit difficult to get the perfect right. You see, peek out a little bit, just turn a little bit, you don't see the tail anymore. So I think for smaller wrists like this, a 12.5 inch long side strap and the short side is about 7.5 is actually quite nice. Now, one thing I do want to point out, let's take a look at the strap. The design is very nice. Got little dots on top. Here's got 9 holes. Same on this side. A very nice pin buckle with that Farer logo of Star Trek. On the back, again, it's very nicely designed. Farer Universal with the little channels for the sweat and heat to escape. Same on this side, genuine rubber. Now, one thing I want to point out, the rubber here, you have 2 keepers, right? The keeper is a very, very square rectangle. And when you first wear this watch, you're going to feel a little bit poking you because this is very straight, absolutely no round, very straight corner. It's going to poke your skin a little bit. You can see here, I was just demonstrating for a few seconds. You see this little mark here? And it's going to poke you a little bit like this because its angle is not round, but you'll get used to it after a couple of days. After a couple of days, you totally get used to it. So the quality of the rubber is very, very nice, very soft, very soft. very comfortable. And compared to the Rubber B, I think the Rubber B is like $250 rubbers these are. Rubber B feels tiny bit firmer. Also very, very comfortable. I think this rubber for the Farer just slightly more softer. You can twist very easily. All right, so overall, man, what I like, it's really, really clean piece of watch. Very legible, super legible. The track on the minute track on the edge is a little bit harder to see, but that's not an issue. You buy this for really the vibrant color, for the simple design. And it has a GMT function, right? I love travel watching GMT. That's the key for me, is I need to know a second time zone, and it has the date function as well. You know, every day, you know, when you feel down a little bit working from home or had a rough day, just take a look at that nice orange color. I guarantee you, it will bring up your spirit a little bit. And I want to say, in the end, I have absolutely zero relationship with this company. You know, I just sourced this watch and I want to give it a try and see how it looks. An excellent, excellent piece. Hopefully you enjoyed the review, and I'll see you next time. Okay, let's take a quick look of the watch under the sun. Very beautiful dial. Okay, so under total darkness, my eye can see very faint loom, but the camera is unable to pick it up. It was very hard to see. Okay, now after I used the LED flashlight to shine it on the watch for about 30 seconds, you can clearly see the hour, the minute, and the GMT hand quite visibly, and the little dots a little bit around the edges for the minute. So pretty good after a little bit of LED light shining on it.